again for my live Let's Talk Hoodoo session. You know what I mean? Tonight, what I'm going to talk about tonight is using the Bible in your root work generally. A lot of people, for the most part, think that using the Bible is Christian-like, but in fact it's not. When you use the Bible, the way that a root worker thinks, when they approach the Bible, we approach the Bible as if it is a grimoire, as if the Bible is a magical text. We don't look into the Bible for God, because we know as root workers, we know who and what God really is. And we understand the implications of what the Bible is and how we got it. Now, how do we ended up with the Bible? We know we ended up with the Bible through colonialism. Well, at least that is what we think. We think we ended up with the Bible, but prior to colonialism, African people were already familiar with the Bible. Christianity originated where at? In Ethiopia. Prior, thousands of years before the first European set foot in Africa. In fact, what we know as the Bible, who we know as the Hebrew people, who were in captivity in ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, for allegedly 100 years, these people were actually Bantu tribe of people. And it's amazing how the ancestors revolve our knowledge that we thought that wasn't in our hands, how it goes off and come right back to you. These people in the Bible were Bantu people, the ancient Hebrew Israelites. Remember, the ancient Jews, the Falasha Jews, live in Ethiopia. They were Ethiopians. But see, we never get into who were the Ethiopians ethnically. Ethnically, the Ethiopians are Bantu groups of people. Many of their people are Bantu groups. Many of the people in southern Sudan, many of the people in northern Sudan, the mass majority are Bantu tribes. Bantu tribal people migrated out of Sudan into Lower Egypt. These Bantu people migrated out of Lower Egypt into Upper Egypt. What I'm saying is that the ethnic group of even the ancient Egyptians are Bantu. So when we, as descendants of Bantu people in the southeastern region of America, when we get in contact back with spiritual teachings that come from our ancient ancestors, we shouldn't be so fast to ridicule it just because we got it from the hands of Europeans. Now that we got it back from the hands of Europeans, we need to place the Bible back into its proper context. Meaning we must understand the spiritual wisdoms that's in the book, that's trying to show us the paths. But in the midst of the spiritual wisdoms are magical keys in which our ancestors knew and understood, in which our ancestors practiced. As far as principle-wise, the same principles of practice which you find here is the same principle and practice that you find in other cosmological systems in Africa. Only when you understand the book and the author and the context in its proper perspective. Only when you understand the proper perspective. So when you're looking at the Bible and you say, well, Jesus walked on water and Jesus died for the sins of everybody, then you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. You're not understanding that our ancestors all wrote books, all wrote stories in an allegorical context with a hidden meaning that only a few people knew how to decipher. So anybody else who would come up and have that knowledge, steal the knowledge, take the knowledge, or learn the knowledge without knowing the key to deciphering the knowledge, they would spread nothing but misinterpretation on what the knowledge really is. And this is what has happened with the Bible. Now, just because there are people who don't know the real interpretation does not mean that I should reject my part of my ancestral lineage because so many people have embraced the misinterpretation. And then you got so many people who have embraced the misinterpretation. There are others who wants to bash the whole book, even the history, even the authors of the book, just because they're mad and upset that Europeans control the dissemination of knowledge about this book. Just because they control the mass dissemination of knowledge about the Bible does not mean that they control the key to breaking down where the power is at in the book, or how the people draw the power out of this book. Now, as a root worker, we draw the power out of the book. Most of the power that's drawn out of the book is drawn through prayers that's in the book. Many of the prophets had prayers. They prayed for specific reasons. Those prayers are used partially as part of what the book actually has to offer. Those prayers are used. The prayer of David, the prayers of Solomon, the prayers of Jacob, the prayers of Job. All of those prayers are used to enhance your hoodoo, your root work. Because the concept is not the fact that people are praying to this or praying to that. When you're looking on the surface, you're going to see all kinds of things. When you look deep into the esoteric nature of the Bible, what you're going to see is that half of this thing is talking about you. Half of this thing is talking about nature. The book is about you and the book is about nature. It's all hidden in allegory. So when we see the stories of Ezekiel and Ezekiel wheel, the dream, don't you dream? It's spirit travel. So the vision that he was having, it was just symbolic of the spirit traveling into other dimensions. These are things we do every day. You daydream, your spirit is traveling. When you go to sleep and you dream, your spirit is traveling. We live partially on earth and we live partially in the dream world. Because you got to be sleeping at least 8 hours to even feel good to wake up to this bullshit in this world. You know what I mean? So we sleep, our 8 hours we do in another world. And then we live the rest of our daytime, in this world. But not to get off subject, but this verse, these verses in this book is used to enhance your root work. I just gave some of my students and some of the people in my class some of the one particular verse. But generally, when I come on YouTube, I just can't give up the verse like that. But there's a dream verse in another video that I made. Y'all can check that out about the dream verse. But there's many different verses, from verses dealing with your enemies, to verses to prosperity, to binding verses, to verses for mental clarity, peace, and happiness. And there's more to the Bible than just the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, I think, for the most part, is overrated, but yet they have many great things in the book of Psalms you can do. But I think that as a root worker, Every root worker should have a full arsenal on their understanding of the Bible. Hello, Black Beauty. I see you. How you doing? I think every root worker definitely should have a very firm understanding of the Bible. And if anybody don't have any questions, for the most part, I got another couple of minutes. I can answer a few questions. If anybody have some, I'm open to it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm definitely good. I'm feeling great. Had a good day. For the most part, most definitely. So what y'all think? Who's out there even using the Bible in their root work? So ain't nobody out there using the Bible in their root work. Cool deal. I'ma see y'all later. And join me. I'm gonna be having some classes coming up soon. When I organize the classes, I'll definitely keep YouTube aware of my classes. Black Beauty, yeah, the Bible was not introduced by Rome. The Bible was actually, like I said, the Bible is a book written by the hands of black Africans. And what has happened is that when the Greeks and the Romans invaded Africa, they stole this knowledge. You see, the first great mother church is in Ethiopia. The second is in Northern Africa. So what happened was when the Europeans stole the knowledge of the Bible and took the books and the Nicaea Council and everything like that, what they did was they compiled the Bible into 66 books. They also destroyed the rest of the books of the Bible. And these books were ancient Ethiopian texts, some written in Ge'ez, some written in Amharic, that explained a different phenomenon and a different reality from what European Christianity is perpetuating. And I think for the most part, because we have been programmed and trained not to research that aspect of Christianity, because we are programmed and trained to just totally reject it from every aspect. Just, the Bible is fake, Jesus ain't real, boom. And we reject it, not completely understanding that the origins, the deepest implications and origins of this book is African. The same concepts you find in this book, you find in the Pert Em Heru, the ancient Egyptian book coming forth by day. When they say that Heru was killed and was resurrected on the third day, okay, that happened to Jesus. And it happened to many other Christs around the world, because that word Christ was known to be a concept, not a person, a concept, a state of mind, a state of spirituality. So people would strive to reach that state. So when people would reach that Christ state within their communities, within their society, they were basically and technically deified as gods. You see, Buddha would be considered a Christ also. So from understanding that, yeah, that question, Black Beauty, about are we all gods? That's a good question. We are all part of the universal, one supreme being. We part of that, and we can increase our portion by how we obtain power. The power is our portion. We increase our portfolio by obtaining power. We become stronger on this physical plane. So yeah. But not everybody achieved that status. You see, it's something that's reached. You know, everything that's reached. What's up, Vincenzo? Everything good, man. I'm right here maintaining. Still doing what I do. That's right, Charles.